Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SF Live. Tonight we have a very, very special guest, the Majority Leader of the California Assembly, Assemblyman Alberto Torrico, who was elected in year 2004 from District 20, that encompasses most of the East Bay from Milpitas to Fremont to part of San Jose. He served as the leader of the Asian caucus of the Assembly. He grew up in San Francisco. His background is quite interesting. He is part Japanese and part Latino from Bolivia. He is also running for Attorney General of this great state. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it very much.
Oh, great. So tell us, what have you been doing as the majority leader of the Assembly?
Well, it's a great honor, and I'm very proud to represent Californians in the state legislature. My district, as you mentioned, is in the East Bay. It's part of Silicon Valley. And I think we have one of the most diverse populations of any legislative district in the country.
Right.
We have Filipinos in Milpitas and Union City. We have the largest Afghani population outside of Afghanistan.
Oh my God,
in
I didn't know
Fremont.
that.
We have one of the largest populations of Indians from the nation of India, Latinos and Asians and all the rest. So I'm very proud to represent the district, especially since I have a dual heritage, as you mentioned, half Latino, half Asian. So I've worked very hard to represent my district. I've fought for the things that I think all Californians believe in: quality jobs, health care, affordable health care, quality health care, good schools, safe neighborhoods. Those are things that I focus my time on in Sacramento. It's been a great honor to serve Californians there.
Awesome. Now, you have a very interesting life story. You were born in San Francisco.
Born in San Francisco.
Now, how did your parents meet up from Japan to Bolivia and then coming to San Francisco, and then you went back to Bolivia for a while?
We did. That's right. My mom's family is originally from Japan, Okinawa.
Okay.
They immigrated to Peru originally. My mom was born in Bolivia. My aunts and uncles on my mom's side were born there. But when my mom turned 17 after she graduated from high school, she came to the United States. Came to San Francisco in search of a better life, more opportunities for herself and for her kids eventually. My dad, who didn't know her in Bolivia, also came to the United States when he was graduating from high school when he was 17 or 18. They met here in San Francisco.
Truly the melting pot, huh?
Absolutely. And then they had 4 kids, and I'm the oldest, and I was the first person in my family to go to college.
Wow.
And when California was a different place, it was a lot easier for young families to make ends meet. My dad was a baggage handler back then.
Oh, really?
At Western Airlines in San Francisco. And we were able to buy a house with my dad's income only in San Francisco. And I'm sure people will remember Juan Marichal, the pitcher for the Giants. He was our neighbor across the street. So back then, California's economy can create jobs for a baggage handler where he could buy a house, and he would live right across the street from a Major League Baseball player. Not just any baseball player, a Hall of Famer. So things are different now. It's much harder for families to make ends meet. But I'm very proud of what California, and very grateful for what California's done for me and my family.
Now, you were born in St. Luke's Hospital.
That's
My
right.
mom went to St. Luke's Hospital a lot. There's a lot of things going on in St. Luke's Hospital right now. I mean, first they were taken over by Sutter Health, and then they were going to close for a while, and so forth. Now, in the Assembly, you are the author of Assembly Bill 656. Would you tell us about this? This is going to be the first in California, if hopefully you're successful in this. Tell us about it.
Well, one of the things that I've become very concerned about in my time in the legislature is our growing trend of spending so much money on prisons, on incarcerating young men and women. Next year, for the first time in our state's history, we're going to spend more money as a state on the prison system than on higher education.
Right.
The UC system, the CSU system, and every community college in the state combined will be less money than prisons. So I don't think that's a good trend. I think that when we raise tuition, when we increase class sizes, when we lower the number of classes available, when we lower the number of spots available in college, 40,000 young people in the next 2 years are going to be turned away from the CSU system, our Cal State system. It's really unacceptable. So I'm tired of talking about our problems, so I've decided to come out with solutions. So one of the things that I've decided is we need to have money for higher education to make sure that every Californian graduate can get a college education here
Right.
in California. So this bill will raise $1 billion. How do you get $1 billion, people ask? Well, easy. California is the only state in the country, major oil producing state, that doesn't charge the oil companies
Oh, really?
a fee
Oh, wow.
when they take the oil out. Every other state doesn't.
Yeah.
George Bush's Texas charges a fee to the oil companies.
Even Texas.
They raise
huh?
$400 million a year for higher education every year, year after year, in Texas. Sarah Palin recognizes that we should charge for the oil.
My girl.
Sarah Palin one day looked out her window looking for the Russians, came up with a great idea. Let's charge for the oil. So they charge 25% extraction fee in Alaska.
Really?
What I'm proposing is a 9.9% fee. Interestingly enough, the same fee that the governor proposed 9 months ago, 9.9% to help balance our budget.
You're right.
The difference here is instead of going to our general fund, all of it, $1 billion per year, goes to higher education to make higher education affordable
So
and
they'll be
accessible.
earmarked then.
Earmarked
Uh-huh.
and secure. So it can't be part of the budget negotiations year
Right.
after year. Because if we're serious about education and if we're serious about making sure that our economy is fueled by young people that have good educations and good jobs, we have to educate them. They have to have an opportunity to go to college.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, I was just reading the newspaper, and the UC system is going to be taking in more students from out of state because they're saying, well, the students pay more money than the California students. That's kind of unfair, considering this is supposed to be a California institution. What do you think?
Well, it's supposed to be a public institution for
Right.
Californians.
Right,
It's
exactly.
not supposed to be the place where people from other states and other countries come
Exactly.
to get an inexpensive education.
Right.
While we're raising tuition and fees for California residents, we're giving them less spots. It's not the answer.
Right.
The answer is putting your money where your mouth is. If you
Right.
believe in education, fund it. And that's what AB 656 is going to do. Now, we've had a great campaign with AB 656 because we think it has to be a grassroots movement.
Sure.
We had visited in 4 days 8 college campuses. Dominguez Hills, we had 1,000 kids come out
Right.
and sign cards of support. We're trying to collect 100,000 signatures of support for the bill and deliver those in 100 days to the governor in January. We're asking people to come onto my website, albertotorrico.com,
Right.
or you can go on Facebook. A lot of these
Right.
young people use
I am on
use
Facebook.
Facebook.
Right.
If you go onto Facebook
Yeah.
and you put in fair share for fair tuition,
Right.
fair share for fair tuition, you can go there and you can sign up and you can be a supporter and we can submit your name to the governor and show the governor and show the Republicans in the assembly
Right.
that people believe in higher education and that it's time to invest in it and be serious about it and solve the problem.
What is the governor's take on it so far?
Not sure.
Oh, okay.
He proposed a 9.9%
Right.
oil extraction fee 9 months ago.
Okay.
I'm not sure what he's going to do with it now, because back then it was for the general fund. This proposal is for higher education. He talks a big game about after-school programs, investing in kids. Let's put our money
Right.
where our mouth is. I hope that he supports the bill.
Well, that's a very good idea. So with the the fact that it's earmarked for higher education, does that mean then that the other part of the fund that is being used to help higher education, will they be touched, or will they do some balancing act saying, well, they're already getting their money, why should we give them more money? What do you think?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The intent of the bill, and in fact in the language of the bill, is that these funds are supplementary to
Right.
existing funds.
Right.
They're not to be used to backfill and
Right.
make cuts to higher education. It
Right.
defeats the purpose of the bill. In most states where they have, in Texas, the experience has not been that they cut higher education funding. They've used it as a supplement. The voters have spoken. The legislature has spoken in Texas. The students have spoken. We hope that that's the case in California.
Right.
I hope that people respect the intent of the bill in
Right.
the future. The other thing people are concerned about with this bill is, will it result in higher gas price at the pump?
Yeah.
Will the gas companies pass it on to us?
Right.
The bill prohibits that. It says to the gas companies, you're making record profits. 10, 15, 20, $25 billion a year in profits for oil
Right.
companies. It says to them, you should invest in the future of California in higher education, and you cannot pass the fee onto the consumers because it's against the law. Under the bill, there's going to be a commission that oversees the oil companies.
Right.
If it's found that the tax is passed on to consumers, their profits can be taken away. So
Right,
I
right.
think we're going to prevent that as well.
That's great. Now, tell me about the safe surrender. You had a bill that is called Safe Surrender, and the governor vetoed it. Could you tell us about it? Your staff was talking to me about it, and I think it's a wonderful idea.
The governor's vetoed the bill 3 times.
Oh, 3
what
times.
what the bill does is this: young mothers today, if they have a baby,
right,